I have come to provoke you. Yes, I have come to provoke you. And my goal is to provoke you until you get to that point where you understand that you are the salt of the earth. Let me say that again. You are the salt of the earth. Now, this isn't a motivational talk or speech. I have not come to get you excited in the motivational way, but I've come to share with you something that is a fact, something that you can go verify, something that you can find in the scriptures, where it says, you are the salt of the earth. Now, many of you are familiar with the Sermon on the Mount. You can get that from Matthew chapter 5. In fact, I encourage you to go and read Matthew chapter 5. Read it, digest it. And by the time you're done with Matthew chapter 5, I'm sure you're going to be this excited. Okay? If you haven't read Matthew chapter 5 before, I encourage you, please go ahead. Go and digest that chapter and understand what God says or what Christ says about you. Today, I'd like to focus on just one verse in that chapter, and that's verse 13, which says, you are the salt of the earth. But what good is salt if it has lost its flavor? Can it be made salty again? It will be thrown out and trampled underfoot as worthless. Let me repeat that again. This is Matthew 5, verse 13. You are the salt of the earth. But what good is salt if it has lost its flavor? Can it be made salty again? It will be thrown out and trampled underfoot as worthless. Now, let's start with the first part that talks about you being the salt of the earth. Again, let me say that, and please, I'll give you a second. Digest it. Let it sink in. Let it sink in that you are truly the salt of the earth. Okay? Now, you're not salt. You're not salt, the physical salt. I'm going to look at salt from 4 different angles. Just follow me. Okay? First, salt is a seasoning. You can add that to your meal and it will add its unique taste and flavor to what it is that you're cooking. If I give you a plate of jollof rice that I have cooked without salt and I say, hey, enjoy. Now, if you take the first scoop and then the second scoop, it won't take you time for you to realize that salt wasn't added to this. You don't need to differentiate a function or integrate another for you to realize that this food was cooked without salt. Now, you may choose to continue eating because you're hungry. You may choose to continue eating because you don't want to make me feel bad. You may choose to continue eating because your doctor said, do not eat any food with salt in it. And if you fall in this last category, the category of people who are very blunt, you may say to me, Judith, you did not cook this food with salt. You know they use salt to cook food. Anyway, the truth remains, you know the distinct, unique flavor of salt, and you can quickly identify that something is lacking salt, that the food was prepared without salt. Now, let me flip that back to you. As I said, you are the salt of the earth. And I've said it before, I'm not making this thing up. It's there in the scriptures that you are the salt of the earth. You're meant to season the earth, you're meant to flavor the world. You are not just a part of this world, you complete the world. Let me repeat that again. You are not just a part of this world, you complete the world. You are meant to flavor and to season this world. You are meant to season this world by bringing God's distinct flavor to people. Anywhere you go to, you're meant to reflect love. You're meant to reflect peace. You're meant to reflect joy. People should look at you and be like, this person is different. This one is unique. This person is not like the rest. This person brings so much joy. What is it about this person? What is it about this person? That is who you are meant to be. So I ask you the question, are you seasoning the earth? Are you seasoning the earth? Let me look at this from a different angle, angle number 2. Salt acts as a preservative. In that same way, you are expected or you're required, in fact, you're instrumental in preserving what is good in this world and in preventing its decay. Let me say that again. You are instrumental in preserving the good we have in this world and preventing its decay, which means you should have a positive, preserving influence on society. The thing is this: many times we tend to complain if things don't go the way we think or the way we expect them to go. We tend to just complain, 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 complain. But the problem here is we just stop at complaining. That's it. All we do is complain and we forget that we are a part of the solution. We should be a part of the solution. If you are the salt of the earth and you're meant to preserve and you're meant to prevent decay, then you should be a part of the solution. So I look at you and I say, yes, if you are the salt of the earth, you're meant to come up with a solution, right? If you are the salt of the earth, then you're meant to be a part of the solution, aren't you? Let's look at it from the third angle: distinction. As we all know, salt has a unique, distinct taste, unique, distinct flavor. So do you. You're different. You're different. You do not conform to the standards of this world. You conform to God's standard. Yes, you live in this world, but you are not of this world. You are distinct. You are different. You are unique. There's no other way to say it. It's as simple as that. Now, let me look at it from the last angle: presence and contact. When you wake up in the morning, you don't just go to your kitchen, open your jar of salt, and you start consuming salt. You don't just do that. Even though you know salt adds flavor to your meal, even though you know salt has a unique taste, you don't just consume salt just like that. What you do is you take the right quantity of salt, add it to whatever it is you're cooking to give you the taste that you want or to add the flavor that you require, right? In that same way, in that same way, you are expected to be present in this world. Let me explain. Even though you are not of this world, you live in this world. You eat the gari and soup of this world. You eat the jollof rice of this world. You walk in this world, right? You are meant to be an active, let me say that again, active participant. You're meant to actively be involved in the affairs of this world. You're meant to be actively involved in your community. You're meant to go out there and build relationships. Now, let me tell you this. I'm not saying this because I figured it out. We are in the same boat. I'm saying this as a wake-up call for us to understand that, yes, we're not of this world, but we live here and we are meant to impact our world. Your influence is meant to be felt in this world. So go out there, get involved in the community, build relationships, let your impact be felt, because the work of ministry is not in your house alone. It starts there, but it's in the world. You are meant to go out. You're meant to go out. You're meant to go out. You're meant to go out. Your impact, your influence is meant to be felt here, right here in this world. When we say, God, give me nations, Lord, give me territories, I want to conquer territories. The nations are already there. I hope you know. The territories are already there. What you're asking for is for grace, is for strength, is for the power to, go do the work that God has put in your hands. The work is there. The work is there. The work is there. You're meant to go out. You're meant to go out. Your presence is meant to be felt wherever you live. Okay? Now, I was thinking about this particular verse today, and I said to myself, what does it mean for salt to lose its flavor? So, what does it mean to lose saltiness? What does losing saltiness even mean? And what came to my mind was this: loss of effectiveness. Loss of effectiveness. The inability to be able to preserve and influence the world around you. The inability to be able to be instrumental in fulfilling what God's plans are for your life, for the life of those around you, and for the work He has called you to do. The second thing that came to my mind was spiritual deadness. Losing saltiness could be equated to losing your spiritual distinctiveness. Let me put it that way. Losing your spiritual distinctiveness. When you fail to commit to the work of the Lord, when you fail to commit to following Christ, when you fail to do the work that God has called you to do, when that zeal to pursue God's work is no longer there, then there's a problem, right? Then there's a problem. When you're no longer indistinguishable from the world, when people look at you and there's no difference between you and what the world offers, then there's a problem, right? When you see somebody in church and that's when you realize that this person actually is a follower of Christ, but you've been with this person all along and there was nothing to show that this one believes in Christ, and then you see them in church and you're like, oh, I never knew you were a Christian. That's no, your Christianity shouldn't be something to be hidden. You are a child of God. You are a child of God. It's something you should wear proudly. It is something people should not wait to realize. It is something that people should realize immediately they get in contact with you. Now, back to the focus. You are the salt of the earth. I want you to realize that. Just as I'm telling myself, okay? I want us to get to that place where we realize that we're meant to shine. We're meant to season the earth. We're meant to season the earth. And the work is outside. It's here in the world. Okay? So think about this. Think about this. Think about this. Think about it. And if you're not seasoning, I think this is your wake-up call, my wake-up call, to go out there and begin to season and begin to flavor the world. Anyway, thank you for joining me today. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.